Welcome to Channel Make, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested in migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Alright, today's video, let's update some of the information in regards to the world of immigration. Now, this week, there's no new policy because I think the both parties of the political parties of Australia, the major parties, are running on their election campaign. No one's really care about the policies and international student anymore. So the Migration Institute of Australia and also Migration Alliance, the two largest association for the immigration professional bodies, has actually come together and agree that they need to put out a notice just to let the public and let the politician to know. And let's have a look at the information here. It's basically calling the politicians of the both sides to really acknowledge the importance of the international student and international education market, in which is the fourth largest export sector for the entire Australia. Again, we gotta look at into if you look into the big pictures, all the Trump's tariff saga is almost settled now. Knowingly, United States of America is looking to conceal the entire China. Now, China has been the largest trading partner for Australia. Now, would Australia just to trade again freely with China still in this new world order? Well, can they do it? Can they just ditch USA? I don't think so. Now, if they don't, that means the trading of those minerals, the three largest sectors, that's coal, iron ores, and all the other minerals going to China, will perhaps come to a halt. Now, if they continue to punch and hit the international education market, which is going to be the fourth largest market, that would really make Australia into a definite recession. So the MIA and the Migration Alliances had joined together advocating a stronger support for international students. And let's just go through about this one, and we'll talk a little bit politics again in this video today. So Migration Alliance acknowledges the Migration Institute of Australia MIA press release calling stronger support international students. So the main thing here is that the Alliance shares the MIA's enthusiasm supporting international education and students, ensuring the balanced approach in immigration and student welfare. Again, there has been numerous reports from the Settlement Council of Australia, Property Council of Australia, and the University of Australia, all the bodies coming out with the scientific statistics showing that international student is not and should not be the key element to be blamed upon for the cause and result of the housing crisis, because generally international students go into the accommodation that's already been prepared for, or homestays. And understand there will be a few going out renting homes, but they are not renting on the average Australian homes. They're all into those small accommodation apartments, units that's right beside the university. So who is actually causing the housing crisis? I think the government of Australia themselves is, because the heavy regulations and lack of support on construction industries and things like that. That's the real things, not the international student welfare. So there's a positive contribution talking about how they contribute to the economy. I think that's 50 billion or something like that, addressing the housing crisis issue. Practical solution, not to blame upon international students, support international student workforce. Yes, how many sectors, how many businesses out there really having those supports of international student workforce at 48 hours per fortnight actually work out pretty well. Visa charges, the opposition leader Peter Dutton is talking about charging $5,000 for all the G8 university applications. That's just crazy. You gotta keep, you need to ensure that competitiveness is still out there. If it's going to be too high, that's killing you. That's getting you out of the business. You're not taking any business anymore. And Peter Dutton also calling about the idea having, if you do a student, I think they're doing a institution changes, and they will charge. So for example, you were in university A and you did not really like the course, you want to swap to university B, and then your visa charges go up to $2,500. That really killed the competitiveness of, that's gonna be currently, the current student application fees, $1,600, is actually the highest in the world. Now if you talk about $2,500 or $5,000, that's actually more expensive than a permanent residency visa application. Can you imagine that? A student visa application is more expensive, it's more dearer than a permanent residence visa application. Permanent resident visa application, I think it's around $4,800 or something. Now student visa is going up to $5,000. That's just nuts. That I don't know who came out with that idea, that given to Peter Dutton, and he will just bluntly throw that out of his mouth. That's basically killing his election campaign. A comprehensive and collaborative approaches. So you may wanted to do your little search and have a little read there. And there's also the media release from the Migration Institute Australia. So again, talking about the $50 billion that the international education could contribute to the Australian economy annually, and all the CEO of MIA and the work 48 hours per fortnight actually help a lot of the business owner as well, and that they can still control, because the current migration level is we gotta look at the facts. It's already under managed. It's control. It's all good now. Okay, why does the opposition leader still want to have further contracting and things like that? So again, I'm not too sure what he is actually thinking. Probably he is just throwing something that he thinks that he's gonna bring more vote. Now perhaps he won't. Now a couple days back, Dutton to cut migrants number by 100,000 people each year. What will he do that? If the world goes into recession, whatever, how it gonna happen? There's a lot of media talking about the current tariffs going around the world will kill the economy. Everybody is going to recession and things like that. Now, and he continued to put this cutting on migrants. There is already a large technology firms came out and putting on the news article talking about Australia really need more migrants. We gotta be again. A few days back, they have just updated the information in regards to the Working Holiday Makers program to allow them to actually go into Sunshine Coast and some of those regions that have suffered wildfires or the hurricanes or whatever the natural disaster is. Now, why am I talking about this topic? Because that actually shows there's not enough personnel in Australia to actually help. Look, Sunshine Coast is only 1.5 hours away from Brisbane, and they suffer the hurricane, and they need working holiday makers to go out there to actually help. Look, you don't have people from Brisbane? Well, yes, they do, but the region's big. Now, that answers themselves. You need more people there. And that is the fact. So not too sure about Dutton's thinking and his senior consultants for his election campaign. Now looks like he's going downwards. So and with all these complexities contributed from the geopolitics around the nations, so US is pushing on the AUKUS, and Peter Dutton is coming out saying the labor is not strong enough for AUKUS. Now China is coming here and say, look, if US doesn't want the beef, doesn't want your beef, we'll take your beef, but we're gonna do free trade. But if that's gonna be a new world order, what will USA say to Australia? Well, if you do deal with China, I don't know. What is your thought? Maybe you can leave a comment right down below. I'll see you next video. Goodbye.